Thanks, Lucy. Hi, Maxie. How's it going over there?
Hey, John. Yeah, going all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. Can you clear up one thing for us? It's a Victorian sort of angled question of, do you still want to play for the Vics, or have you sort of given up sort of playing red ball cricket? We were just talking to Chris Rogers last week, and he was unsure. We sort of was a bit surprised that you thought you weren't perhaps going to play red ball cricket anymore.
No, I'm certainly keen to still play red ball cricket and still push my case forward to still play Test cricket. I feel like I'm still very much in the prime of my career. I'm only 32. There's still a fair bit in me, and I'm fit and young, feeling still anyway. I feel like I've still got a lot to give in red ball games. So, certainly not done and dusted there.
Is there any chance you play a game before probably going to the IPL?
Yeah, well, if the schedule allows, certainly. And obviously, things with COVID haven't been exactly clear all year. It's been a changing sort of landscape for us. The rules around hubs have been frequently changing, and I suppose with quarantine on the way back as well. So, we'll see. Hopefully the schedule allows me to get out there and play another game of red ball cricket, but we'll see.
That was just my last one. So when you come back to Australia, will you have a fortnight of quarantine then, or?
I actually don't know. I'm not sure.
Thanks, Maxie. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thanks, John. Ben, we'll head to you next.
G'day, Maxie. Just after an update of what you've been up to the last few days in quarantine, or probably, in training, Morley.
Training, I've not done a whole lot. It's actually been nice to sort of have a break of probably not picking up a bat or a ball. And the first few days, I made a conscious effort not to take my cricket gear to the ground. And I probably made that mistake during the last quarantine that we had back in Sydney, and probably got back onto the tools too quickly and found myself sort of diving, I suppose, a little bit psychologically wise, and just didn't quite feel it at that time, and decided to take a little bit of a break during quarantine until we sort of hit the ground running a little bit close to the main sessions. But learned from that. It's obviously a different experience for everyone, but was able to learn from that experience, and decided to drop the tools for a few days. Had my first hit today, which was nice. Just sort of giving myself a chance to, I suppose, look forward to having a hit or look forward to having a bowl.
So you're not the first player to say that. What have you been doing instead? Have you been doing gym? Have you been doing something else to actually literally psychologically freshen up? Or is it just reading books? Or talk to me.
Does it look like I've been doing gym? I'm not very big at the moment. So. No, I've literally just been walking around, helping blokes that need to be helped, throw a couple of balls to a few guys, just having some conversations with some younger players, helping some guys out playing spin. But yeah, just trying to help out where I can, and not doing a hell of a lot. Fetch a few balls out in the middle. Just try and still stay useful, but probably not. I suppose concentrating too hard on my own skills.
And the flip side, your downtime.
I've been playing a fair bit of PlayStation, which has been nice. Been watching the Test match, which has been entertaining. Test matches in India are always exciting, and that's probably been getting me through.
Can I also ask how you and the team have taken the news of the new outbreak in Auckland today?
I haven't really spoken to anyone about it. I suppose it's out of our hands at the moment. We're just hoping that it gets cleared up quickly, and still all guns ahead, and we can still play at Eden Park. And I suppose we're just hopeful that it can get cleared up fast. And I'm not sure what date we get now. I haven't really looked at the schedule too full on. But hoping that we can still get there.
Is a packed Eden Park sort of a highlight, home of cricket here that you're keen to get to?
Well, I was talking to Finchy about this. We haven't actually played at too many grounds over here. We seem to play at Hamilton, played at the Cape and Wellington, and Eden Park. We play at those few quite a bit. We've got a few different ones this tour, so it'll be an interesting experience. But Eden Park packed out is certainly a hell of an experience, and something the young guys will certainly look forward to.
All right, I better get off the can. Thank you.
No worries. Cheers.
Thanks, Ben. Russell, over to you.
Hi, Glenn. How are you?
Good, Russ. How are you?
Good, thank you, mate. I was going to ask you what you're going to do with all your white pads, given we'd heard you were not playing red ball cricket anymore, but that's good to see you still got some interest. Serious note, do you look at someone like Mozzie and see, back in the test squad at 32, touring around this summer, you go, yeah, you never know. I could still have a shot.
I think probably with the schedule as well. I think next year there's quite a few subcontinent tours that I feel like I could certainly add something to that test squad if I was selected, and I'll certainly be doing everything in my power to try and get on those tours. And if I can somehow get some red ball cricket at some stage, awesome time in Asia to work on my game over there. Hopefully that can be enough to get myself back in the baggy green.
Just a couple more from me on Asia. Obviously, the IPL auction this week. Been reading that RCB might be after you go play with Virat. Have you heard anything? How does it work? Do they sort of give you a ring and say we might take you, sort of AFL draft style, or not?
Not really. It's a bit of a lottery on auction day. I think it's going to be broadcast as well, so that'll be a nervous day for a few guys, but it certainly should be entertaining on Thursday. I'm looking forward to it.
What about if you did land there at RCB with Virat and AB de Villiers? That'd be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that would be awesome. AB, one of my idols, and one of the guys I've always tried to watch the way he goes about it. It would be awesome to work with him. I know he's a great fella, and he's always been really helpful to me along the journey. And whenever I've caught up with him, he's been brilliant. So to be able to work with him firsthand would be pretty cool.
And I've just seen a photo of you pretty chummy with Virat as well during the T20 series. Yeah, do you get on with him pretty well?
Yeah, get on with him pretty well. Yeah, it'd be certainly nice to work under Virat, and feel like we'd work quite well together, and I'd certainly enjoy batting with him, that's for sure.
And just last one from me. Your last game was the end of the BBL season. I think it was Australia Day, Jan 26. And obviously the first game is until the 22nd of Feb, nearly a month between games in the peak of summer. Might years have gone past that have been an issue for you, but now as you said before, you just switch off, and when the game comes, you'll be ready for it.
Yeah, I suppose learning from past mistakes is probably burning the candle too much, and then not being able to sort of being flat come game day. And I think in the past I've trained really hard leading up into series and started series well, and then sort of deteriorated as they go on. But to sort of give myself only a few days sort of lead in, and to be able to hit the ground running still, and then be able to keep that form sort of continuous throughout the whole series is probably pretty key for me going forward. And it's all well and good preparing for a long period of time and trying to get used to conditions, but you still got to be mentally and physically good to go through a whole series and not just the start. So that'll be key for me going forward.
Good on you, mate. Thanks. Go well.
Cheers, mate.
Dan Brady.
Hi, Glenn. Just a question about, I suppose, conditions differences between playing a T20 World Cup later this year in India and playing these games in New Zealand. Like, what can you learn from playing in New Zealand conditions this series versus, what can you not know unless you're actually in those conditions in India?
I think it's probably more role play and for the players in our side. So there's going to be obviously a few debutants. I think we've got 6 or 7 guys that haven't played for Australia yet. Is that right? Not really sure on the exact numbers, but they're going to have an amazing opportunity to push their case for that T20 World Cup. I think there's about 15 games before that World Cup starts, so there's plenty of opportunities there for guys, and just to see how they go under pressure. New Zealand are obviously a very good side. Got some really good players, and it's going to be good to see how these players play under international pressure. Yep, we've seen them do it in the Big Bash. We've seen them and play well, but I suppose international cricket's a different beast. So hopefully our players can stand up and sort of show, put up a good front and go well this series and put their names forward.
And just one other from me, you talked about the IPL auction. What are your memories of that big day you had in 2013 where, you know, you'd made, I think, that quick 50 for Australia in Perth, and then, you know, all of a sudden you were raking in the big bucks in an auction?
Well, I made the quick 50, I think 2 days before, and then the auction was on game day of game 2 of that series against West Indies, and I completely forgot about it. And that's 100% honest as well, because I had no idea. And it was against the West Indies. I got a first ball duck, walked off filthy, angry in the change rooms, and there was a few blokes sort of laughing and giggling in the background. I was like, what's going on here? Had no idea. Sat down, and Mickey Arthur and Michael Clark grabbed me and took me into the back room. I'm like, oh, they're going to yell at me about a blow up or something like that, or they're like, oh, the IPL auction's on. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even know. And they said, oh, do you want to know what you go for? I said, yeah, it doesn't bother me, like, whatever. They said, oh, you went for $1 million. And I said an expletive and sort of walked off, and just sort of sat there and like had no idea how to react, and blokes were laughing in the background. And I was actually really lucky. It was in Perth, and I was really lucky to have my family over. My mum and dad were in the crowd with my auntie and uncle, and I was able to share a special moment with them after the game. So that was my memories of that day. That was life-changing, a life-changing amount of money for me. And I suppose have the I'm going to call it luck to be able to go back up there most years and be able to apply my trade has been awesome for my cricket. It's been great to have the experience to play around the best players in the world and learn off different teams as well. We've had different coaches. I've had Punter, I've had Sanjay Banga, Brenda Sehwag, had all sorts of coaches. It's been awesome. So it's been a great experience, and people ask me if my career would be different if I didn't go for that, but I have no idea. It wouldn't. I don't think it would, because I don't feel like I've changed too much as a person.
But fair to say you would have watched every subsequent auction a bit more closely than that one.
Yeah, I certainly knew the date after that one. You certainly learn from your mistakes, and I learned from missing the date of that one. But every year since, it's been exciting. I know a lot of the players, the Australian team's generally together for a one-day series somewhere in Australia, and we get to watch it together and I suppose congratulate each other or commiserate each other depending on what they went for or if they didn't go. So it's obviously a stressful day for a lot of people, and I've been lucky enough to be on the good side of it a fair few times.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Marty, we'll head to you.
Yeah, hi, Maxie. First one, mate. Is that a new hairstyle that you've got there? What's the story?
Boredom. I'll give you the hot tip. It's boredom.
Has Mrs. Maxie given her feedback yet? Is she a fan?
She hated it originally, and then I did it a couple of more times around her, and she was like, annoyingly, it started to grow on her. So it's not going to stay, believe me, because we've got a wedding to plan for next year. So I've got to enjoy it while I can, because the car parks are getting deeper and deeper.
Mate, just a more serious one. You mentioned earlier about still having that test ambition. I guess it's sort of been a conundrum for you for most of your career about how do you actually find those windows to play a decent chunk of first class cricket in around IPL and white ball for Australia. Do you have any plans in the next 12 months about finding ways just for you to have a decent crack at playing red ball cricket and putting some decent red ball numbers up?
I just think in this current climate, it's so hard to plan ahead. We're not sure what's going to happen in what country and what tours are going to go ahead, what tours aren't going to go ahead. So it's just so hard to plan forward. I think last year, obviously had so many different plans. I had my elbow surgery at the start of the year, and I was looking forward to getting back into cricket at the start of the year and building through the winter. And all those plans went out the window, and all of a sudden things changed. So it's all well and good thinking about your plans, but I just think in this current climate, it's really, really hard to sort of set them and stick to them.
Have you had any discussions with the selectors about your test ambitions, and have they given an indication that, because it does seem really hard for you to play Shield cricket, have they given an indication that continued good performances for Australia in white ball cricket, particularly in the subcontinent, could be enough to get a test spot back, particularly for those Asian tours that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, a little bit. And I think even watching this current test, you're not facing these conditions in Australia, so you're not probably learning a whole lot off Sheffield Shield cricket in Australia. You're not really getting a gauge on what guys are going to be like under that sort of pressure, and with the ball spinning square, keeping low, bouncing over your head, and it's just a different beast completely. So to be able to I suppose pick a test side based on Sheffield Shield cricket, it's probably a little bit more difficult. I think you've probably got to go in with a lot more specialists who can adapt to, I suppose, spinning conditions, and find a way to score in those sort of conditions as well. So I'm hoping that can put me in good stead, even if I don't have the time on field with the Sheffield Shield. If I could still find a way to, I suppose, play a bit more subcontinent, play a few more series in the subcontinent over this year or however long, and put my name forward, put up some good numbers, and show that I'm still a good player of spin.
Cool. Thank you, mate.